Rich Eisen's power rankings look like this entering week 7.
Cracking the top 5 once again are the Baltimore Ravens. They're one spot up at 5, and oh my God, I can't believe they were 0-2. And every single time I see Derrick Henry in purple, it's like, how did the rest of the league let this happen? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How did they let it happen?
We said it when it happened in March, when they signed.
Right.
This is going to be awesome.
Right.
Spoiler alert. Through 6 weeks, it's awesome.
And it's exactly what we thought. And you remember when they were
4 weeks. The first 2 weren't.
Well, no, but you remember I was about to say in the first 2 weeks we were wondering.
Well, the Chiefs game was
if they knew how to work Derrick Henry into their offense.
Okay.
That's gone. That question's gone. A month later, it's like he's always been there. He's always been the caretaker.
He has 8 touchdowns in 6 games.
And it is as frightening as The Shining as everybody else, because here's Derrick.
Okay. Let me know what you think about Rich Eisen's power rankings again entering week 7. A little bit of a snub job here for the last couple weeks. He is not as much of a Ravens believer as I thought he would be. Not that a top 5 ranking, given their 0-2 start, isn't solid standing. I would just have them above Houston for sure. With Detroit losing Aiden Hutchinson, I might even have them above Detroit. If they're going head-to-head with Minnesota, I'm taking the Ravens, even though Sam Darnold's a fantastic story, and I think Kevin O'Connell is one of the great young up-and-coming head coaches in this league. And, of course, I'd have them below Kansas City until proven otherwise. Chicago is 10. Washington is 9. Buffalo is 8. Tampa, the Ravens' opponent coming up on Monday night, is 7. Atlanta is 6. Baltimore is 5, up a spot from 6 in last week's. Houston is 4. Minnesota is 3. Detroit is 2. And, of course, Kansas City is 1. What are your thoughts on this? Cowboys, what a shock there, as a little note underneath the list. Dropped out. Of course they dropped out. They were embarrassed this past weekend. And Jerry Jones, quite frankly, is embarrassing himself as the owner on local radio there in Dallas. I think it's 105.3 The Fan. He's getting on the hosts for asking him real questions. Not a good look. No chance Jerry's going to apologize for ripping those guys, because that's not in his DNA. But in Dallas land right now, supposedly America's team, what a shit show. What a total shit show. So I'd be comfortable with this list looking like Kansas City 1, Baltimore 2, Detroit 3, Minnesota 4, Houston 5, and then I guess I'm okay with the rest of the list. Chicago being at 10 seems a little premature. I know they're 4-2, but they're the only team on this list with a rookie, meaning a rookie quarterback. Even though C.J. Stroud's a second-year player, hard to believe that. But, man, that's the beauty of having that quarterback on a rookie deal, right? You can go out and make moves the way they did this offseason. Will thinks the Falcons being above the Bucs is a little bit too much. Yeah, maybe. Tampa's not going to lay down. It's not one of those games that was circled if you're the Ravens prior to the season, because they're out of the gauntlet of elite quarterbacks and championship caliber teams the way they had to grind through the first 6 weeks of this season. But you know Baker plays with the chip on his shoulder. He's a gunslinger. They got a high-powered offense with targets on the outside. And as I already mentioned, I expect it to be high scoring given some of the deficiencies in that Ravens secondary. Hopefully Arthur Maulet will be back in play here at some point soon. He put up a tweet recently this week that sort of suggested he could be ramping his way back from injured reserve. He's in the middle of that 21-day activation window. The Ravens also signed Christian Welch to their practice squad at linebacker, and Anthony Kendall to the practice squad, who is a corner. Welch, of course, has been with the team a couple different stints. He signed with the Ravens as an undrafted rookie in 2020, played parts of 3 seasons, typically as a core special teamer and a depth inside linebacker. Denver recently let him go. What else? Anthony Kendall at corner, practice squad guy, played 16 games last year for Tennessee, most of which was just special teams. And again, these moves with Kendall and Welch are because they released Pepe Williams, who was back on the practice squad, and they elevated Yannick Ngakoue, which Sarah and I discussed earlier in the week, to the 53-man roster, and he's been pretty impactful for them so far. By the way, Salah, Big Salah, Amuvai Laulu, their second-year tackle out of Oregon from last season, he was not claimed on waivers, so he is a free agent. Could sign with any team, but I just don't know why the Ravens would have any plans to keep him around. Nice guy. Sarah and I had him on the show, but just doesn't quite fit what the Ravens need offensively speaking, and it's just a little bit too slow. And I wonder if he even has an NFL future, to be honest with you. Wish him the best. Really do. I want to make sure I give Justice Hill some love before I give you my dating story from earlier today. Nothing quite like dating in the Baltimore area at 30. It's tricky. If you're in a bigger city, I think it's a little bit easier, but I think you guys are going to appreciate this dating story from the dog park, and I'll tell it to you in just a second. But first, Justice has got to get some love. Here he is, his receiving stats. We know what he does on the ground. He's got burst, great blocker, savvy bits picker-upper. But through 6 weeks, 18 targets, 18 receptions for Justice Hill, number 43. 171 yards, 100% catch rate, as you can see. 9.5 yards per reception. Guy's got great yak ability. And he's the first PFF receiving grade, number 1 in the entire AFC North. So, yeah. I'm happy for Justice. Don't know what the situation will be snap count-wise, workload-wise, when Keaton Mitchell is eligible to return. But Justice, especially given that extension a while back from Eric DaCosta, it's clear to me that this guy's a glue guy. This is somebody who gives you all-out effort every single play he's on the field. Again, just the all-out effort that you think about taking on Max Crosby in pass protection. The blitz pickups that we've seen in recent weeks. He's always a willing and able receiver in the check down situations, in the screen game. And he's twitchy. We always mention, you got to have guys like this. You got to have glue guys if you want to be a winning organization. Selfless glue guys, and that is what Justice Hill is.